Yes, it is everything I've ever wanted to watch in a cooking show. It's the most talented young chefs in America under the age of 30, and they're competing for the largest culinary prize in history. So $500,000, a huge opportunity for them to truly set their life up for success and change the trajectory of their career.
Wow, that's insane. What made you want to be a part of the show?
I absolutely love cooking shows. I grew up watching them with my mom. I also grew up in the restaurant industry myself, so I'm very familiar with that world and, definitely a dream job for me. I'm so grateful. It's one of those things that have been on my vision board my whole life. I love feel good shows. I love connection with food, and it's all of those things plus like the heat of a competition.
Oh,
You really see a lot of heart, soul, and competitiveness.
oh my gosh. How was your like birth experience? Did you have like a birth plan going into it? Were you able to stick with it or
Well, she was breech from the beginning,
oh,
and
okay.
she was also a really big baby. She was 9 pounds. So
Oh,
I knew I needed to get a C-section. And part of that was, I mean, you just kind of surrendered to it. It really wasn't what I envisioned for myself. And it took a little bit of a grieving period. And I tried to have her flip and everything, but
yeah.
I could not get her to move. She was just a really big baby and just like wedged in there. But I mean, I think it's just it's a traumatic experience no
Yeah.
matter what, because you're delivering a human into the world and it's coming out of like a small hole, whichever one it is.
Yeah.
So it's really, it
Oh
was
my gosh.
wild. It was wild and beautiful. And everybody says that like you look back on it and it's the best time of your life. And I will say that's totally true. Like while I was in it, I was really scared and I was thinking like, I never want to do this again. But now she's 10 weeks and I'm already thinking that I would do it 10 million times over.
How has your postpartum experience been? Have you been struggling with like postpartum depression or hormonal shifts at all?
Thank God, no postpartum depression, but I do have an interesting thing called Deemer, which you don't hear about that often. And I just noticed when I was breastfeeding, I had this intense, horrible, depressing feeling, like a pit in your stomach, like hits you like a brick as soon as she latches and you have a letdown. And
Okay.
so I asked, of course, my best friend ChatGPT, and basically when your oxytocin rises for you to have a letdown, it's a temporary crash in your dopamine, like
Oh,
completely gone.
yeah.
And it's very common. And so I, of course, went to TikTok and I found so many other people who have this. And drinking water helps, distracting yourself helps. But I mean, I cannot complain at all. I want to, it's worth it to feed your baby, but it's such an interesting, unbelievable hormonal thing that happens that no one talks about. But it
Wow.
doesn't affect everybody. It's
Yeah.
interesting though.
My holdup has been like I'm not going to be able to like do things like career like I feel like it's going to like hold me back like once I'm
Uh,
a mom like that's like my thought process but I've been hearing that that's not the case from most moms but I'd love to kind of hear like your take on that.
Yeah, I think that for anybody who says, no, you can do it all, I mean, like, I'm just going to be real with you. There's totally a shift. And, like, whether or not you want there to be or not, like, you have somebody that's physically dependent on you. So I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's scary. And honestly, I've leaned on, like, that's why I'm so grateful that I have my husband because,
Yeah.
um, while I'm totally working and I'm doing everything in my power to keep working, and I'm so happy to have the opportunities that I have. Like, let's say they all went away. Would I have the same ability that I had 10, 12, 15, 20 years ago to like light that fire up my butt when like I have
Yeah.
somebody who like really needs me, which is my baby? No, like I would choose my baby 10 times over, obviously.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's just my honest opinion. It's definitely like a scary time, but I'm also just kind of a worry wart in that way. Like I'm very ambitious. So I did have a little bit of an identity crisis. I really did. And it's very common. And
Yeah.
to anybody out there who didn't and doesn't and is like a working woman, I commend you. I did not have the mental fortitude. I totally got scared. Also, like just the fact that you're worrying about it is enough to say that you're going to make it work. Like you just do.
Yeah.
Like if you want to work and you want to keep working, you will keep working and you will make it work. It's just kind of I think you just like are really stuck with you're just really you're in a new phase and it's like a lot of juggling. It's like a new sort of balancing act,
Yeah.
but you can do it.
Yeah.
You can do it. I can do it. We can do it.
What's been like the biggest thing? Because obviously your schedule's busy, your husband's schedule is busy. How have you learned, or how are you striving to kind of make sure you have alone time for yourself to prioritize yourself, and then you guys together as a couple?
That's a good question. Well, we always try to go on a date once a week, and it doesn't always happen. And sometimes the date is literally just rotting in bed watching like the Mob Netflix show we were just watching.
Yeah.
Actually, sorry, we were watching Next Gen Chef, obviously on Netflix. We really were though. Uh, yeah, we try to have a date once a week, but his schedule is really different because it's, the football season is so crazy and then he gets a little bit of a break and then,
Yeah.
eventually he won't be playing football at all. So it's like a short window of time that we just kind of give each other grace because I know he's doing everything
Yeah.
that he has to do for his career and he should be. So with these lesions, it gets worse and worse and worse and worse and worse until eventually, hopefully, you get answers and you get a surgery. But uh, the average diagnosis time for endometriosis is 10 years, which is something that I've worked really hard to try to bring to light because that's absolutely horrifying. And even me
Whoa.
myself suffered for years and saw dozens of physicians before I was actually taken seriously with my condition. So I knew something was wrong because I had excruciating pain.
Yeah.
My endometriosis is primarily in the back of my uterus, so um a lot of low back pain
Mm.
and to the point where I couldn't get out of bed. I was living in the bath. I was taking prescription level medication and still in pain, just
Wow.
so upset. And it's one thing to live with chronic pain, but it's another thing to live with chronic pain and feel like no one's hearing you because then it's scary.
Yeah.
Like at least you know that there's an answer. That would be a great situation. I didn't even know what was going on because nobody would diagnose me with what I later researched for myself was endometriosis. This was before I met Dr. A, but I'm so
Yeah.
grateful for her because after I finally did enough researching on YouTube, Reddit, Instagram, Facebook, I realized, okay, I think that I have this thing called endometriosis. And
Yeah.
it wasn't in the front of my pelvic area. It was in the back. So because of that, like my symptoms were just a little bit more unique. But now that I talk about it more, I find a lot of people who actually have exactly what I had. So anyway, I went to her and I said, I think I have endometriosis. And lo and behold, she found it like on an ultrasound after I went to so many other people and they did so many ultrasounds.
What piece of advice would you give to someone, to women out there that feels like they're in pain, something is wrong, but they aren't being taken seriously? How they could better advocate for themselves?
As far as endometriosis goes or in general?
Yeah, I mean, or in general, but yeah, with endometriosis or just our female reproductive problems that so many women
Yeah.
struggle with, but don't know how to advocate for themselves or don't feel like they're being heard, similar to kind of what you experienced.
Yeah. Well, that's what that endofound.com has a whole page of resources specifically for endometriosis. There's also Nancy's Nook on Facebook. Like that's kind of where I have told people to go. But for anybody out there who is suffering, just know that you're not alone. And hopefully you can see the better part of social media and find people who have the same condition and what they did to seek help. It's such a cool thing to see the
Mm,
strides we're taking with women's health, specifically endometriosis, seeing the amount of people that even on my own little level
yeah.
are advocating for themselves and going to the right doctors and calling out the bad doctors. It's amazing to see
Yeah.
people getting the help they need and being vulnerable about it because unfortunately, if you don't advocate for yourself, you're not going to always get the help you need.